Hello, everyone, and welcome in to the Perennial. It's the Grand Finals weekend. We are down to our last two matches. We're here with two out of the top three teams today. The second seed, El Dupa, and the third seed, Very Cool, for our losers bracket Grand Finals. Winner of this match advances to the real Grand Finals tomorrow, and loser drops out in third place. My name is Dio, and I'm here with my boy DeMarsh. I've been here for all of the Perennial matches from last year and from this year. I'm happy to have him on Grand Finals again this year.
I mean, we're back again. It's good to be back. And I mean, this is just it. It's the top three teams, the top three seeds. We've known it from the start that these guys were likely to go all the way. It doesn't get better than this. As far as I know, we've not seen these teams face off before. Oh no, we did actually, didn't we? We saw them in the winners semi-finals. So it's a bit of a rematch from there. Hopefully, though, it's a little less one-sided as it was last time. But I still cannot wait for this awesome match.
I'm certainly ready for it myself. After the winners semi-finals between these teams went as it did, with El Dupa taking that matchup 6-1, I believe, in that matchup. I definitely think a lot of people are going to be interested in seeing how this matchup goes on a much more difficult pool, where players like White Cat and like Zudinator and like Bubbleman, for example, scale, I think, much better. And I intentionally don't mention MRAC because White Cat did tweet out that he may have gone to sleep before this match. So we'll see. We'll see whether he is here for this match or not. But even without him, this roster for Very Cool is something else. Even without MREC, Fiery Rage, Sawada, Taquito, Angel Kana, Zudinator, and Bubbleman alongside White Cat is a very, very scary roster to go up against.
Yeah, I mean, just even a fraction of those players is scary enough, let alone combining sort of all 8 of them onto a single team. I mean, that is just ridiculous. It is literally one of those all-star matchups on both sides where you just think it's going to be a clash of the Titans, really. And I think it's going to come down to those individual players just playing that little bit better than the other team, because both of these teams have got star performers. But like you said, if Very Cool's missing Emrak, that really does change the dynamic quite a bit, especially on this high-end Grand Finals pool. So that's a little concerning, but I still think Very Cool would be able to put up a good effort even without him, based just purely on their lineup.
I want to take a look at the semifinals scores between these two teams as well, because during that matchup, we also had missing players for both of these teams. Rafis was missing from El Dupa, and Bubbleman was missing from Very Cool. Bubbleman is, for those who are uninitiated to the tournament scene, one of the single best tournament players of all time, and possibly one of the best late-stage tournament players in the game, actually. Just straight up one of the best that there is when you get to these very late-stage pools, and frequently, of course, from his participation in Osu All-Stars events, should be known by this point to be one of those players who can make that star player difference for a team. But not having data on him, I think, definitely hurts El Dupa, probably more than not having data on Rafis hurts Very Cool, because we've seen already really the star players for El Dupa, and the biggest one to shout out for this team is Tommy, who in the semifinals had almost 5 full combos on a semifinals pool against Very Cool, was in for almost every map, and the 2 maps that he didn't full combo, he still got above 600k on, which is just some absolutely ridiculous performance, even on a semifinals pool. So the recent Course Ace closed 1v1 winner, and the player who at this point has made the biggest difference for El Dupa. I think Utami definitely somebody that we really want to watch out for in this matchup.
I mean, yeah, you gotta give credit to Utami. The consistency that man is on right now, nothing phases him. Even with map pools pushing into the 8-star realm, it doesn't bother him that much. He's still able to put really good scores in a lot of mod categories. Which, if you're very cool in this situation, you're going to be seeing Utami a lot in this match. Across no mod, hidden, hard rock, DT, the man can do it all. So you've got to be able to counteract that. You need some star power to actually go up against that. So really, you're going to be looking at the other players on El Dupa. Who are the players that might get a bit skill capped on this sort of pool. If you're very cool, that's what you want to try and target, because they have got a lot of high-end skill players.
Yeah, I definitely think for very cool, you're looking to kind of lean into some of these players who, are already known to be able to scale really well into those later stages, like you said. I think even for very cool on a pool like this, you can still look to players like Bellman and Sawada to kind of carry you on some of the speed picks, but I think largely for very cool, their strategy is going to be really similar to what we've already seen from them, where they want to pick into a lot of the aim-focused picks and play into their strengths as a team that is very, very strong on hard rock and hard rock aim in particular. Players like Fiery Rage, like Angel Kana, like Zudinator on hard rock aim, like White Cat on hard rock aim, typically like Emrek on hard rock aim as well, are just absolute monsters on that skill set, and I think we can expect to see them perform to expectations on these types of pools. That is to say, in the late stages, those players don't stop scaling. They will still be able to put up those full combos. They will still be able to put up really, really solid scores, despite the fact that this map pool has scaled to almost 8 stars on a lot of the aim-focused picks.
Isn't that kind of crazy? To think that we're at a point where players can get to the Grand Finals, and this, let's take nothing away from this pool. This pool is by no means easy. You've got maps pushing 8 stars in this pool, and to think, oh yeah, we've still got loads of players that could FC these. I mean, that is crazy, no? To think that we're at a point where players have got so good, you can build entire teams where the entire roster can FC maps like this. I mean, that is just unbelievable to me, even now.
It really is. We've kind of been at that point for a little bit with the tournament scene in general, where players have kind of been able to scale really well into a lot of the later stages and have been able to really put up those types of scores for quite some time at this point, honestly, where a lot of 1v1 tournaments in particular have seen map pools that are well over 8 stars. Even going back to last year, pools like Yaz's Summer Cup and Yuki Aim come to mind, where the pools got so ridiculous that, even as somebody who worked on the map pools for those tournaments, I wasn't quite sure if the players were going to be able to really handle the maps all that well, but they had absolutely no trouble with it. There were a couple maps here and there that were 300k fests, but largely players were still pulling out close to FC scores on them. Emrek, of course, being involved in both of those tournaments, definitely paving the way, I think, for some of the harder map pools that we have seen this year as well. One thing to note is that we do actually have a slight delay for this match. It is going to be delayed by about 10 minutes. Both teams have players in an existing match in another tournament right now. So we are going to delay this match by about 10 minutes to let them finish up with the match that they are currently playing, so that both teams can actually play this match at their full strength rather than not having their full rosters ready to go for this match.
Absolutely shameful behavior. Cannot believe on Saturdays that they do this. They do this all the time to us. I swear to God. No, I'm joking.
I can't believe they'd delay a match when there are 10 other tournaments going on this weekend. This is just crazy from these teams.
This is the perennial. This is unacceptable.
No, we can't have this. No. Definitely would rather have both of the teams be able to play the match at full strength than like force them to start early and then see like players just not be able to go in and teams not be able to pick what they actually want to pick. Nobody wants to see that happen, so we're going to delay it by 10 minutes and make sure that that both teams are able to get the match that they want to play, and that we as spectators also get the match that we want to be able to see on this type of map pool. With that said, we can kind of talk about what happened in semis a little bit more. I think for El Dupa, the strategy kind of stays similar here in the Grand Finals, but when you look back at what they actually did in the semifinals, the margins of victory that they had on particular maps is really interesting to look at. The biggest margin of victory that they had was on Hidden 1. Actually, on the Awkward Aim Hidden Pick, where they had a 1 million team score margin of victory, which is absolutely absurd at this level to be able to get that kind of margin of victory. A, on an aim map, and B, against the team who is nearest in seeding to you, aside from the first seed. So, with that Hidden 1, I think what the takeaway is for Very Cool is that they really want their players to be able to pick into not necessarily the Awkward Aim Hidden picks, but some of the more unconventional maps in any of the map pools. I think we really want to see them try to pick into some of the hard rocks, which were untouched in the previous matchup between these two teams, or even some of the free mods, which again went untouched. The only mods these teams played were No Mod Hidden and DT. So El Dupa already has an on-paper advantage on those no mods, on those hiddens, on those DTs, although the hidden 3 did go the way of Very Cool. So you're kind of looking to Very Cool to change things up in this match, right? For El Dupa, you've already got information on what you're better at. And while, yes, they did have to have Zudinator play Double Time 2 last weekend for Very Cool, obviously Bubbleman going to be a much better fit for the team on DT2 this weekend. I think the strategy is still largely the same, given that there were a lot of maps that El Dupa was able to take by 500,000 score or more in their previous match.
Yeah, they're not going to swap Zui out on DT2 though. That's suicide.
Yeah.
But no, I think the nice thing, I guess you could say, for Very Cool is because of how the way that first match went, where it was just kind of one-sided. Knowing that both teams, they didn't have their full rosters, so it wasn't a match up to the same caliber as what I think we should expect today. I think that's worth bearing in mind, because I think the strategy, like you said, the rosters, they're going to be much, much different from what we saw previously. The lineups are going to potentially be different. Bubbleman coming into the mix. There's a lot of maps in this pool that you could sort of look at and go, yeah, you could stick Bubbleman on that. Especially knowing that Emrak's not here, you're expecting to see players like Bubbleman a whole lot more come into this roster and really try and shine through for his team. On the other side, El Dupa, hopefully they've got Rafis this week, which they didn't have in the semi-finals. So, you're looking towards, some of the more DT maps to really come through for him. Definitely looking towards those areas to see if, what roster they put forward for those. But no, I think there's the matchup will look very, very different from what you saw from the semi-finals.
Yeah, I definitely think so. As well, with the fact that there are some players on the side of El Dupa who maybe don't scale as well into these super late stages. I'm looking kind of at Michini in particular, who's been in a little bit of a tournament slump recently. But I think a lot of the other members on this team are still going to be able to scale really well into this late stage and into Grand Finals. In interviews last weekend, for example, Fiery Rage said that really the only two teams that Very Cool is scared of are El Dupa and Microwave Lobster, and for very good reason, right? They have already lost to El Dupa once, and Microwave Lobster are currently undefeated in this tournament, having taken down everyone in their path, including El Dupa. So this is definitely a matchup that I think kind of sets the stage for that Grand Finals as to which of these teams really is able to perform better as a full squad on the hardest pool in the tournament, and which of them has the best chance at taking down a Microwave Lobster squad, which has very similar strengths, in particular to this Very Cool roster. Microwave Lobster, a team that has been very, very strong on a lot of the aim maps through this tournament, a lot of the tech maps and reading picks in this tournament as well. Microwave Lobster kind of similar to El Dupa in the regard that they are very, very strong on a lot of the hidden picks in particular, but similar to Very Cool in that kind of their speed roster can be a little lacking at times, especially with the fact that Mathy is now out of the picture for them. But the sheer strength that they displayed on the finals pool last weekend is not to be underestimated, given some of the scores that they had three-way full combos on particular maps in the finals pool. For example, for Microwave Lobster is just absolutely absurd. No way that you can actually look at that and say, yeah, no, this is a team that might struggle into the later stages. No, all of these teams are going to be just fine on this late stage map pool, and there might be some particular players who struggle more than others, but they're going to have their place on a lot of these maps. So I think a lot of this is going to come down to how well these teams have prepared for this match, and how many of them are really able to put their best foot forward in this particular match.
So, Dio, who do you think I want to call them sort of an MVP for each team going into this match? In terms of who do you think, so picking one player, one from El Dupa, one from Very Cool, who you think will be the sort of core MVP, the maps that they're going to pick into as their strengths, that they're going to base their sort of strategy around. I want to hear your thoughts on which player for which team and why.
It's pretty obvious for El Dupa. It's Utami. This guy is good at everything. He is one of the best 1v1 players in the game right now. There are a couple of select players that I think you could put him second to, players like Malashevsky, players like Vaxe, but they are very few and far between. And Utami recently has been on a tear with Corsair's Closed. He just won one of the most difficult 1v1 tournaments in the tournament scene right now. So he is the obvious MVP and the obvious player to look out for El Dupa. To boot, he's been their best performer several weeks in a row, especially as they scaled into those later stages in the semifinals and finals. So absolutely the player to watch out for this weekend for El Dupa. For Very Cool, I think it's less clear-cut, but I think there are two players in particular who scaled the best for them into the finals weekend, and those were White Cat and Emrek. Those two players had a really, really solid finals weekend. There are, of course, other players on that team who are very, very solid. You look through the MP link in the finals, and both of those players had way better scores than just about everybody else on their teams, and that's in both matches against Picora Lovers and against Bob. Against Bob in particular, though, White Cat and Emrek just shone really, really strong in that match. Emrek with 850k on Nomad 1, for example, in the 3-miss on that map, with a 615k on Get Low in DT4. White Cat and Emrek with 715k and 620k on the alt map in Nomad. I mean, just absolutely ridiculous scores on all manner of maps is the reason why you look to those two to be the difference makers for this team. And there definitely are, again, other players on that team who are going to be very strong. I think the level of star power and pop-off power on Very Cool is closer between White Cat and Emrek and the rest of the team than it is for Utami and the rest of his team. But there's definitely going to be those two players who you look to win this match for Very Cool.
See, it's interesting about LD because someone I thought you'd possibly bring up is Krilla. Credit to Krilla. Krilla has had, to be honest, a very good tournament. I think outside of perhaps quarterfinals where he probably didn't do as well as I think he expected, I think Krilla has become like a really important core member of El Dupa. Seems to go in for a majority of maps and actually come out with very, very good scores. I think, that pairing of Utami and Krilla, I feel like we'll see a lot in this matchup. And I think Krilla is going to be a sort of dark horse of this match. If he isn't at that point where he's kind of skill capped, I think Krilla can perform very well in this matchup. Those are my thoughts on El Dupa. So it's not just Utami, this team. This team has got some great depth with some very tough players.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely not just one player or two players for either of these teams, right? We point out the best player or the best players on each team because of the fact that there's only so much that we can talk about, but all of these players have their place. For example, even Malteser on the side of El Dupa putting up 740k on Double Time 3 last weekend, being by far the best score in the lobby against Microwave Lobster, is absolutely part of the reason why that match was as close as it was. Players like Kriller, like you pointed out, top scoring multiple maps for them last weekend, helping them keep it close as well. Players like Chocomet, for example, pulling out the 950k one miss on No Mod 1. Not enough to win them the map, but keeping it within 16,000 score is certainly still something to point out. So there are a lot of players on this team and a lot of very, very well-known players in the OS scene in general who are going to contribute a lot to this match. But I think when you're talking about players to watch out for and pop-off potential, you're looking at how well is Utami performing, how well are White Cat and Emrek performing, and then you're talking about, okay, well, how well can their supporting members put up those high scores that they need to in order to supplement the kind of star players for each of these rosters, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's sometimes those supporting players that make the biggest difference. Like, as well as, for example, Utami or White Cat or Emrek can play, they can still get outscaled by a strong supporting squad. They don't have to FC, but if their scores are consistent, you can easily outplay a single or even two members of a team if the rest of the roster comes up short. And I think that's something to remember with this El Dupa squad. Even if they don't look as strong on paper compared to Very Cool, credit to them. They are, in theory, the favorites to win this one, I think.
Yeah. Well, they've already won it once against Very Cool in the winners semifinals. El Dupa now ready to try to pull out a second win in a row against the same team and prove for good that they deserve top two in this tournament, as their qualifiers seeding has predicted and as their win in the semifinals predicts. That said, we are going to be getting into some of the bans now. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time or who are unfamiliar with the rules in the Perennial, we do things a little bit differently regarding the bans. We do first bans at the very start of the match, and then after 4 maps have been played, we do the second ban for each team. So this Hard Rock 1 ban is the only ban that El Dupa gets until both teams have picked 2 maps each. So we're going to be getting a little bit of staggered bans in order to give those power picks early on a little bit more oomph for both of these teams. And it does prioritize a certain, or it does incentivize a little bit of pick ban strategy in that you really want, your best 2 picks to be picked first with this type of ban phase.
Yeah, we take out those first 4 maps, and then it sort of leaves the second ban phase to really try and isolate any weaknesses you have at that point. If you can survive, which of course in early stages it can be quite detrimental, after the first 4 maps the strategy changes from Grand Finals. You can afford to drop a lot more points. You know, you can pocket a lot more picks for later on if you don't think your opponents are going to ban it. You know, it's only 2 bans at the end of the day, so it really comes down to overall pool consistency on this one. And looks like the bans are out. Well, they're getting there.
We talked about these Hard Rock aim picks for very cool being really, really good for them, right? So I think this Hard Rock 1 ban from El Dupa is pretty well placed. Again, these teams, when they did face off in the semifinals, it was El Dupa winning the no mod aim map, the hidden aim map, and some of the speed picks in double time, alongside some of the more interesting picks in the no mod pool, like the no mod 3, no mod 4. So a lot of what El Dupa is good at is those kind of basic tests of raw mechanics and some of the reading, right? Very, very strong hidden players on El Dupa, Utami and Shige in particular, alongside Kriller, all very, very good hidden players. As for very cool, banning out this DT3 pick, I think also works really well for them. Sad to see 2 custom maps be banned out by both of these teams, Hard Rock 1 and Double Time 3, both custom mapped for this round. Unfortunately, we are not going to see them in this matchup. But I think these bans make sense for both of these teams. Very cool. Despite the fact that they hopefully have Bubbleman on this roster, if Emrek is asleep, then that DT roster really takes a big hit for them. And you want to have maps where you can reasonably sub in somebody else for them on the side of very cool.
I mean, don't worry, dear. They're saving them for Grand Final. We're not ready for those maps yet.
Right, of course.
Those custom maps, they're locked away, lock and key. Don't worry. I'm sure they'll be back. There's no way that these teams are gonna ban them twice. There's no way that could happen.
Oh,
but if
no,
it does,
of course not.
I mean, if it does, you know, it's clearly not my fault.
Well, we'll see. Waiting on the first pick now from El Dupa. I think we can see kind of a wide variety of different picks. They're going to go with something really interesting right off the bat. Maybe reading some of the feedback channel where some of the players from Very Cool were talking about how the Hidden 2 here is something that they aren't super fond of. Another one of the custom maps, actually, for this map, Mukiryoku Coup d'etat by Last Note. I hope I pronounced that right. It's mapped by Ryusei Aika. This is just absolute demon overlap reading, plus some putting funfair-esque streams in the back half of this map, and is absolutely a pick where we could see players like Ikoro and Shige 1v4 on something like this. I mean, the hidden reading roster for El Dupa is honestly really, really scary. You have, for example, Utami, who, yeah, a lot of people know him as a really good speed player and a super strong mechanics player. Last year, in January 2021, when Nick's Winter Cup was going on, the only things he could reasonably pick into people as a tournament player when he just started breaking out into high-level open rank tournaments were speed and low approach rate hidden reading. This is his original specialty and something that he has been able to keep up and improve on throughout his time in the tournament scene as well. So a very, very scary player on those low approach rate picks, alongside 3 players whose names you should recognize as just absolutely incredible reading players and hidden players: Triller, Ikoro, and Chocoment Shigetora in for this low approach rate pick.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an unknown fact about Utami. It's very much part of his original toolbox, which, you know, let him advance into certain rounds of tournaments and play more and more maps and get more experience in the tournament scene. So you know it's going to be, well, it's just one of your core things that you started with and you've always kept in that toolbox. You know you're expecting good things from players like Utami right now. So it looks like the reason that we're having a little bit of delay here is Takito is currently in a map right now. And, well, I mean, on the bright side, apparently he's playing Hidden 2, so we've got a very good transition.
Yes. Yeah, this is the Kanyo Cup match that we were talking about before. Takedo is in a match right now, so is oh, and apparently the lobby has died, so we will be making a new lobby because we did not start a map fast enough. So we're off to a fantastic start here in the Losers Bracket Grand Finals. Waiting for, I suppose this is just the gods favoring Very Cool, as now we have to make a new lobby for Takedo to come in. So, hey, he's got that extra time in his Kanyo Cup match, right?
Yeah, the gods. It was all the gods' idea.
Right.
Right. Yeah, it totally wasn't the players delaying forever.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Well, they knew the lobby was going to expire at 21 past. It's not like they knew, right? There's no way.
No, totally not.
That they would have planned it that way.
Utami is now playing this map in solo, so we get to see Utami start the map a little bit here before we switch over to another lobby. My favorite. There we are. All right.
Well, Utami won. He 1v7'd.
Yeah.
On 7k. That is ridiculous. I can't even make jokes like that seriously anymore. It just happens so often.
I'll get the new link thrown into chat for you all so that you get the correct MP link now.
And now
check
with
in
an
on this
active lobby.
Kanyo Cup match as all right, Takedo's map in Kanyo Cup is over, so we will hopefully be getting him in for this one right now. And there we go, he has left the lobby in Kanyo Cup. It is time. Get in here, Takedo. Get in here, the rest of the team, and let's get this match started. We've been waiting long enough. It is time for the Losers Bracket Grand Finals already. Please. We didn't even have warm-ups since 24 minutes past. This is reminding me of the old days when they had warm-ups in tournaments.
Oh yeah, this has been warm-ups as well. We'd still be here in another 30 minutes. We're looking forward to the first map. I always found that warm-ups made matches go faster for some reason. I know it didn't actually, but
No.
it always felt like it did. And lobbies closed less often. It has to be said.
Well, when you have Kanyo Cup going on at the same time as a bunch of other tournaments, stuff like this kind of just happens because Kanyo Cup is locked really to Sweegie times in 15 to 17 range, so a little unfortunate there. But we're finally going to get into it here. Fire Rage, Takedo, Zudinator, and Bubbleman in for this one for Very Cool, Utami Kriller, Koro, and Chocomint for El Dupa. Finally into the first map of the match.
Oh dear, we have breaks all over the shop starting this one out. The only ones really holding onto any combo right now are Koro and Fiery Rage. Not something I thought. Anyway, Ikora's the only one with an FC, as Fiery had an early break in the map. But other than that, no one's really managing to get much combo on the board. There goes Fiery as Takedo manages to recover some alongside Bubbleman, but Koro is just on fire right now.
I mean, this is why they picked this map, right? Is because they have two of the best reading players in the game, and their supporting players on a low approach rate reading map are Utami and Kriller, right? Like, those are some pretty good supporting players on a low approach rate reading map, if I've ever seen them. We do finally get some combo breaks from Zuninator and Bubbleman as well on this low approach rate map, and Fiery now the only combo for Very Cool up against the FC from Ikoro, still going strong, 99.73% act for him. This is the map that was
I mean, at that combo deficit, yeah, it is. It is. You can sugarcoat it whichever way you want, but you know, there's a reason why he's on the team, because this is just his bread and butter. Fiery is trying to keep his team in it, but I mean the score deficit is already so massive as Akora finally finds a break over halfway into this map. But I don't think Very Cool can make up that difference easily.
No, it's really all on Fiery Rage and Bubbleman right now who have these combos. Bubbleman, despite letting his opinion be known, still one of the key players for Very Cool on this map, as he has the second best score for them aside from Fiery Rage, who is really the only player on either of these teams who looks comparable to Akoro in terms of the score right now. But unfortunately, the Pudding Funfair stream is going to catch his combo out, and Shige going to start to take over with this biggest combo in the lobby at the moment. Kind of glossed over the fact that he's holding on to 700 combo right now. Does finally drop that, and this 100,000 score lead for El Dupa now pretty much locked in, as we see chain misses from just about everybody during the stream section in this map, and no one with any sizable combo going into the last quarter of the pick.
Yeah, I'll do, but they'll be relieved to see that everyone kind of broke at the same time while they were in the lead, because, yeah, like you said, it just means a score bar. It's got nowhere to go, and that just means that El Dupa, they can hold on to this lead quite comfortably, and it doesn't even really matter if they all find breaks, to be honest, because no one Very Cool can recover well enough. Not much of a difference, and this is over.
Definitely is. The early combos for El Dupa really putting them up in that map in particular. The big combos for Akoro at both the start and end of the map, and for Shige in the middle of the map as well. Looking really, really strong for them in that pick.
I mean, also as well, Akoro got all lucky sevens, so he should definitely hop down the slot machines. Should stop playing Osu and hop on those instead, because that is a very nice combo.
Well, looking for the first pick from Very Cool. Now, I'm just expecting one of these two Hard Rocks to get picked by them, frankly speaking. Again, in the semifinals where they already played against each other, the maps that El Dupa did pick into were largely speed mechanics maps and that hidden one. Not the same type of hidden one in this pool, that's for sure. Symmetric by Isomers, definitely not your typical aim map. Just basically a tech map in that slot, so you're really not looking to that slot for aim consistency, and in this case, I think for Very Cool, you really want to pick into things that weren't played in the semifinals. Hard Rock 3 seems like a pretty good one. Fiery Rage recently getting the first ever Hard Rock full combo on Ergosphere, score V1, and according to him, this map is one of the easier picks in the pool. I'm interested to see exactly what the scores are on this map, given that he got the first Hard Rock full combo on the map ever. So I'm thinking this is going to be relatively interesting. This is all flow aim and all aim control on this map. 170 BPM, accel, decel, wiggles, cut streams, you name it. 1/3 flow aim as well in this map, all throughout the pick. So very, very tricky sort of map to be consistent on, especially with Hard Rock.
Yeah, the Hard Rock really throws a wrench into otherwise a fairly simple Toybot map. And this is going to require some interesting strategy, I think, from El Dupa if they want to take this. I'm already looking at this lineup for very cool, with a lot of fear. This is their finalized lineup: Whitecat, Bubbleman, Fiery Rage, and Zootinator is a tough old lineup to go up against. I wonder if I'll actually see Okoro stick in for this one.
I actually think Okoro is not a bad pick for them on this map in particular. And yeah, he was forced to play Hard Rock. Oh no. But for who they have available right now, I think you're looking at Okoro, you're looking at Utami. You know, you usually want to see Shige in on a map like this, but he's not a Hard Rock only player. And so we're really not going to be seeing him in for this, I don't think. You're going to get Rafis and you're going to get Kriller in for this. Kriller on a map like this, I think, goes very, very well. I think Rafis, generally a very, very solid all-rounder, probably still a little bit better than a player like a Kolibed, for example, on this map. And I do believe Michini is still in that ongoing Kanyo Cup match, which is currently in tiebreaker right now, which is why we also don't see Taquito in for very cool on this map. Instead, Whitecat, Zootinator, and Bubbleman can be joining Fiery for this one.
Already we see quite a few early breaks making their way to the service. Okoro has just had a big one there alongside Zootinator. But at the moment, we've still got players like Utami FC, Whitecat, Bubbleman. You know, the players that we mentioned at the start. They are putting in the work here. Rafis got a nice big combo though, so he is definitely going to be helping El Dupa here. But he does find the break. Maybe the worst timing for that as well. So getting back into this. Rafis, the only one really struggling. Kriller's recovered very nicely. Korra did have a break as well though, so it's just Utami and was Kriller, but Kriller's gone now as well, and this is becoming very one-sided very quickly. Bubbleman will finally find a break alongside Whitecat, but I think those breaks are coming in just too late. Fiery makes it 3 for a very cool. It's just Zootinator now up against Utami, but the score difference is too massive. There is no chance of a comeback here for El Dupa, none whatsoever.
Very, very solid team score for very cool on that map. Nobody below 600k except for Fiery with that 500k. Did have a bit of a rough time at the start and at the end finding those chain misses, as you can see from the diff graph, but everybody else able to avoid the chain misses for very cool and able to keep the scores up above 600k. Really, really solid scores for them. But this is why we kind of talk about Utami as this player to watch out for on the side of El Dupa. I have to draw attention to the 0 miss play from Utami, 840k, 91% accuracy. I think that is actually a full combo on that map. I'm not certain. I'm gonna have to check exactly how much combo is in that map, but still top scoring in the lobby, despite this being the opposing team's pick. So very, very good overall performance from Utami, as we kind of expect to see from him. And still able to put up really solid scores even on the opposing team's pick, even when the rest of his team is all around 300k. So that is a really, really solid score for him. Very cool, however, just too good on a team level for that to matter at all, putting up 2.4 million team score on that one. That's 600k average score for their members on any map in a Grand Finals pool is a very, very good team score.
Yes, and so we are through the first round of picks, and each team not really giving the other an edge. Either way, I think Very Cool has had the biggest score difference though, on their own pick, which might just come down to simple just that being a stronger map. But it's only one map. That's the difference. It's all about how many maps you're better than the other team on, not really how good you are at one or two individual maps. And I think this is a very solid plan for El Dupa to stick on the hidden before it gets taken away.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we already saw what this hidden roster did for El Dupa on hidden 2. With this hidden 3, I think we're gonna see pretty similar stuff. Utami, Shige, and Ikoro back in for this map for El Dupa. And yeah, I mean, these are their hidden mains, right? You put these 3 in on any hidden map and you just expect them to pop off every single time. And that expectation is usually met pretty well, right? These are some of the best hidden players right now. Kriller, I think, could also go in on this map and do absolutely fine. The fact that they are subbing in Michni really says a lot about Society. It says a lot about just how much confidence they have in Michni being able to put up a really solid score on a map like this. And this is definitely something right up Michni's alley. This type of really alt-focused, aim control heavy hidden map is exactly what he's really good at. We've seen Michni throughout the last several years in the tournament scene just pop off on wide varieties of aim control and tech picks, and this certainly is the same type of map for these sorts of picks.
Are you okay there, do you? You kind of just seem to have a little bit of a mental breakdown there when discussing Michni's sub-in. You seem to kind of just blame society, down with society. You kind of just... Are you okay there? Are you okay?
Look, we don't talk about American politics on this stream, all right?
Okay.
Yeah. We've said enough about society on this stream. Let's get into Osu. It really says a lot about society what this ref just rolled in chat, by the way. That roll 1,000 from a secret, really something else. Yeah, I mean, this is a really good pick for El Dupa. I think you're right. Sticking with the hiddens for them is absolutely the way to go. Cocked and loaded here, Chokehold, the pick for El Dupa. You can already see what type of map this is just from the start. Very, very aim control heavy alt pick in him.
Yeah, very... Ult is a funny thing when you slap hidden on it. It requires a very different type of reading, combined with the snappiness that you come across. And to be honest, it's not looking like a great run for El Dupa so far. They've had players like Michni and Kriller just kind of run up against a wall here. As all members are Very Cool, starting to build up those combos. The big ones, White Cat and Zootinator right now, really pulling it home. Utami's had an early break as well, but Chocomin's still holding on to the full combo. And there it goes. Zootinator's dropped as well, though, alongside Bubble Man, so it's White Cat and Emmerich holding up against Utami right now.
And make that just White Cat, as Emmerich does find the drop as well. White Cat versus Utami, now the 2 players holding strong for either team, but there's still a 60,000 score lead for Very Cool. White Cat not on that reverse choke, and now the only player with combo in the lobby. Utami finally finding the drops. The robot breaks, and we have ourselves a match here as Very Cool now looking to take a breakpoint on this hidden 3 pick off the back of White Cat just absolutely demolishing this pick so far. The front half going immaculately for him, finally finding a combo break halfway through, but there's good combo on both Bubbleman and Zootinator to help offset the extra combo that Shige's built up for himself as well, now going into these 1/3.
Yeah, Utami will begin recovering as well. Also something to keep in mind, but there goes Shige. He drops it alongside Bubbleman and White Cat. Triple break even for El Dupa, though. They all find resets, to be honest. And that just leaves Zootinator out in front. Is having a great recovery thus far. I think we can really see a scaling in difficulty at this stage, as we see Emrak, Michny, and Whitecat. Utami is going to join him as well in the reset club. Choco Mint down. Zuti's still going.
And this is the danger for El Dupa picking into this hidden 3. This is the same type of map that Very Cool was able to win against them in the semifinals on Xenobi Kill. This type of alt hidden is exactly what they were able to capitalize on, and they're looking to do it again here in the Grand Finals. Kriller now the only high combo left for El Dupa, as 6 people find breaks there. Tommy, Mitni, Bubbleman, and Emrek. That's actually 4 people, not 6. But we've got more chain misses coming through for Bubbleman and Michny. It's Shige and Kriller. Now Shige gone as well, up against Whitecat and Zudinator, and with only Kriller able to hold the combo, almost 200,000 score lead in the lead for Very Cool. This is looking very good for the 3rd-seeded team to take this hidden 3 once again as their sole point in this hidden pool. Whitecat right now alongside Zudi just doing work for this roster. Whitecat in both the front and back half absolutely killing this map, a large part of the reason why they have this score lead. And now with Kriller finding that note lock chain miss, that's going to seal it up for Very Cool. 200,000 score in the lead, and Whitecat showing him how it's done and showing why he should be feared on this Grand Finals pool as well.
Yeah, these key players, they're starting to show through with their strengths. And they've made their first move. Very Cool with that breakpoint. That is huge for them going into their second pick, as well as the ban phase as well. The ban phase, really, if they're able to hold on to this pick, they've got still in hand, they're going to have a great time with the ban phase. They can really focus on isolating picks for El Dupa and putting more pressure on their team to pull through. That breakpoint is massive, even if it's this early on in the match.
I'm just trying to keep myself from laughing. I'm sorry. Very, very cool with an absolutely massive score there. Like you said, that early break point, huge for them to put themselves ahead in this match and make sure that they are able to have a really good time, honestly, going into the second round of bans, going straight into the second Hard Rock pick, Hard Rock 2, now the pick up for Very Cool. And you know, they ban out Hard Rock 1. Well, Hard Rock 2 in this pool is just a slightly streamier, burstier version of Hard Rock 1. A little bit more awkward aim and CS 6.5. Very, very similar type of map, generally speaking, to that Hard Rock 1. It's an aim map at the end of the day. Yes, there's some bursts. Yes, the jumps are a little more awkward. But they just won a super awkward pick in the Hidden 3 with those wide angle 1/3 jumps all over the place, with those super high BPM back and forth jumps in the alt patterning. And that was in Hidden, where El Dupa get to make use of a lot of their star power, especially in terms of Shige and Kriller and Utami being more comfortable on that Hidden than they are on the Hard Rock. So for Very Cool to be able to win that pick and then go into another one of these aim picks in Hard Rock right afterwards should be very good for them, should be able to put themselves up 3-1 with this pick. But we'll see exactly how much they are able to do that here. Very Cool now once again putting in their Hard Rock roster. Fire Rage back in for this one alongside Whitecat, Bubble, and Zudi.
Yeah, I mean, this is thus far looking like the team that's sent in to really score the points thus far, which is completely understandable. They're still waiting on a fourth player from El Dupa, though. Trying to see if maybe Rafis is coming in for this one, perhaps. Or whether they're having second thoughts on their fourth.
Looks like they're going to be forcing Ikoro to play Hard Rock again. He was forced to play HR. The entire Very Cool squad was forced to play Hard Rock, and yeah, I mean, the members for El Dupa here really just are not Hard Rock players for the most part. You're looking at like Utami, for example, to tank Hard Rock on free mod so that the rest of them can go either hidden or easy, or where the maps necessitate it, or where they allow it for easy, particularly that free mod too. But for this one, everybody forced to go the Hard Rock, and just not the mod of choice for the members of El Dupa. Very, very good for Very Cool to be picking into this, I think, with several players who really prefer Hard Rock. Zudi, of course, preferring hidden Hard Rock on a lot of maps, but one of still the best Hard Rock players around, even if it is with hidden Hard Rock the vast majority of the time in solo for her. Biggest thing with this map, CS 6.5, big aim strain, making sure your cursor is in the right place at the right time, far more difficult with circles this small.
You gotta have that precision power, and it looks like it's cut out a few players already. Krita, Zutinator, and Whitecat all fall to the tiny little circles. Michini is going to be joining him as well. As we really sort of kick into the new focus of this map, the tricky snappiness of this map. And it seems to be hurting Very Cool more than El Dupa, although a big break from Ikoro is going to open things up a little bit more for them. They're still not winning in combo yet, though. A lot of players still trying to build up support combos, but these breaks, including Michini now, really going to open things up. It's just Utami and Krilla. Fiery goes, though. That's big for El Dupa. Utami still holding on. Bubbleman's going to be fighting a drop. I think Very Cool are in big trouble here.
Utami actually dropped as you said his name, Demarsh. You are so skilled at those caster curses, and it keeps Very Cool in the game for this one. Whitecat now the only combo left alive, as both Kriller and Zudi find drops of their own. There's a little bit of combo on Ikoro in this section as well, but everybody having some trouble with this pick, as we see no full combos left alive for either of these squads. Big combo dropped for Ikoro, and now all the big combos to look at on the side of Very Cool. Whitecat with the biggest one, but Bubbleman and Fiery matching the combo out of Utami. They're going to need to hold on to these combos a little bit longer, though, as both Kriller and Michini have found some support as well. Some recovered combos for both of them. The breaks now for Bubbleman and Whitecat, massive for El Dupa to keep this pick as a potential breakpoint. Zudinator finding the drop as well, and it's still 3 combos intact for Utami, Kriller, and Michini, all holding strong for them against only Fiery Rage now for Very Cool. He has to hold. If he breaks at all, this map is instantly over, but only Michini finds the drop for El Dupa. Utami and Kriller both still holding strong, and this score lead only growing for El Dupa because of it.
Yeah, they've got such a nice little section here just to really push home that combo, and, well, there's Fiery. So that is the last hurdle to fall for Very Cool. They really do not have anything else in the tank. Even with a break from Krilla here, there's just nothing. Whitecat's got the biggest combo, but it's just absolutely nerfed to hell by not just Ikoro, but Utami as well. There's a fantastic recovery here. There goes Bubble once again. And it's just falling apart at the seams. Very Cool. They had the opportunity to secure the lead, but it slipped away from them on a Hard Rock 2. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, absolutely not the map that I would have expected to go over as a breakpoint to El Dupa, but pointing out Kriller and Ikoro in particular with unexpectedly good scores. We expect Utami to have really solid scores on every single map. He is a very well-rounded player, can play anything, can play any mod, and the fact that he top scored this map is not too surprising because of that. What is surprising is just how good his supporting scores were from Ikoro, Kriller, and Michini, all looking very, very good on this map. And that team consistency, rather than the pop-off from Utami, is the reason that they are able to win this pick. Fantastic stuff from El Dupa to tie it up 2-2. and keep this match as close as it gets, tied up as we get into our second round of bans. Again, for those of you who are just joining us or who are unfamiliar with our tournament's rules, we did one ban for each team at the start of the match, and we do the second ban for each team after 4 maps have been played. So these power picks for both of these teams at the start of the match, very likely their best 2 maps for each of these teams. And a couple breakpoints right off the bat makes those first couple of picks real interesting now, especially going into the second round of bans. We saw a speed ban from Very Cool. We saw an aim ban from El Dupa, but I think it's really questionable what we actually see for the second ban from El Dupa, because I don't think they're as scared of maps like the free mod one or like the no mod one, especially not of Hidden one, that being a tech map in Hidden, and the mod that they have picked into very often. If anything, I think we see the Hidden one ban from Very Cool, if not one of the other speed maps like DT2 or no mod 5 banned out by them instead.
Yeah, I think the thing that Very Cool is going to be careful about as well is free mod, to be honest. I mean, El Dupa, they've got incredible range to go hard on those mods. A lot of their hidden roster is going to be very strong, I think, on some of these maps. I think they need to probably consider that they will be playing those, especially once El Dupa, because if they run through the hidden maps, they might go through the DTs, like you said, which Very Cool might be interested in banning, but otherwise they've got to watch out for those free mods. I think El Dupa are definitely going to try and play some of those into their map picks.
Well, we'll see whether that is the case or not. Looking at a DT1 ban from El Dupa. I think that ban actually makes a lot of sense if you look at the roster for El Dupa. A lot of the players who are going to be good for them on speed don't necessarily want to play it on high approach rate. Players like Shige, for example, like a Koro as another example, very, very good speed player, but just not as good on that high approach rate. Not necessarily going to want to play that map in particular. And again, another aim pick where players like White Cat and Emrek are going to be really, really strong for Very Cool. So I do like that ban a lot from El Dupa, thinking about it a little bit later. And it seems like they just don't want to deal with this double time pool at all for either of these teams, as we see DT2 now banned out from Very Cool. Double speed ban from this team. I think understandable that they think they have a much better chance taking points off of El Dupa on Hidden than they do on DT or on Nomad 5.
Yeah, and again, they're leaving a lot of the no mods open, because I think that is probably the most contested area between these two teams at this stage. No modifiers, no real gimmicks to the maps, just straight up map performance. So I think those really can go either way depending on who you're putting in and why. And to be honest, I think the teams might even try and stay away from those maps as much as possible. Very Cool. They might try and dip into free mod before really jumping into the no mod pool. Whereas I think El Dupa, they haven't got to worry about that as much.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely think Very Cool wants these free mods to get picked. Because again, when we did see these two teams face off before, the no mod pool went entirely in El Dupa's favor. Very Cool didn't win a single no mod against this team in semifinals. They're already off to a better start, taking 2 points right now in the losers grand finals here, but definitely not the no mod pool for their power picks here. I think the hard rocks and the free mods changing it up is exactly what they wanted to see. So this free mod 2 pick from El Dupa, a little bit interesting. Mapped by Penic, AR7, and CS 5.6. We saw feedback from a couple of members of both of these teams that if you're not taking hard rock, you probably want to go easy on this. For the free mod rules in this tournament, both teams need at least one player to take either hard rock or hidden hard rock, and both teams need at least one player to take either hidden or easy or hidden easy. but taking easy hidden is mostly a flex than anything else. So a valid mod combination on this map is hard rock and triple easy if they wanted to go that route. So I'm interested to see who actually goes with the easies on both of these teams, because I think we're probably seeing them. Ikoro for sure is gonna be going easy on the side of El Dupa. I'm not sure exactly who goes easy on Very Cool, or if anyone takes hidden on either of these teams. From what I've seen of what the players have talked about, going hidden on this map is strictly harder than going easy, which is really interesting, and I want to see if we do see any hiddens on this map.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, there are so many people going to be going easy on this map. Like, just, there will be so many going easy. I think this map is just better played with easy, in my opinion. I think the players that will probably actually make the biggest difference will actually be the mod players on either team. But I just think a lot of players will play this easy, more than anything. I think the only ones who will really be playing mods are those that have to.
Yeah. And there we go. We've got the triple easy and hidden hard rock for Very Cool. Zudi on the hidden hard rock. Everybody else on easy. Taquito, Bubble, and Fiery. And Shige on the hidden hard rock. Utami on hidden. And both Kriller and Ikoro on easy for El Dupa. So one thing to note with easy is that whatever score these players get, multiply it by 1.6. Whatever score you see for all of the players on easy right now, just multiply it by 1.6. That's right, the actual score. So I'll be doing some mental math throughout this map, I'm sure, to help make sure we've got accurate score lines. But as of right now, it's looking as though it's pretty even for both teams. We're seeing pretty even combo trades between Shige and Zudi, and pretty even combo trades between Taquito and Utami on the hidden and easy on the easy and hidden respectively. But 4 easy full combos still alive right now for Bubble, Fiery, Kriller, and Ikoro.
I just point out how crazy it is watching these players on hidden and hard rock play this map. It's so vastly different. It's actually impressive to watch. I'm struggling to look away to look at the other players because it's just that impressive.
And this score lead being ever so slightly in the favor of El Dupa is actually wrong, given we've got matching full combos for Ikoro, Kriller, and Bubble, Fiery. But Taquito is on easy. That extra score multiplier on Taquito's score is probably bringing Very Cool over the line right now. And even right now, they've just straight up got the score lead because of too many chain misses coming out from Utami in particular. Shige and Zudi both have about the same score on Hidden Hard Rock, but Utami is only able to match the raw easy score coming out of Taquito right now, not the post-multiplier score. So it's all on these full combos for Fiery, Bubble, Ikoro, and Kriller. If any of these full combos miss, that can change the course of the map. But otherwise, this is looking like the win for Very Cool off the difference between Taquito and Utami. But there goes Fiery's full combo, and that might be enough to give it over to El Dupa at the end here. It probably isn't enough, though. We're gonna have to do a little math here at the end of it to see exactly how much score goes over. SS for Kriller, identical accuracy for Bubble and Ikoro on this map as well. It's gonna be close, but I think Taquito probably makes the difference for Very Cool in the favor of them right now. We're gonna have to see. I'm gonna delete points from either team until we get the confirmation from the ref for which team has actually won the map.
But you say we're going to do the math. We're not going to do the math.
I'm not going to do the math. A secret is going to do the math. Yeah. That's probably the win for Very Cool, though. I have to think that the extra multiplier score on Taquito is enough. It was about 50k difference between Fiery and Kriller, but the same score for Taquito and Utami, and yeah, that extra score lead for Taquito is gonna be enough to bring them over the edge. Very, very close at the end of it. I think probably 5-digit score lead for the side of Very Cool on this map. For those who are curious, Taquito's score would have gained 120,000 score, and the difference in score between Fiery and Kriller was about 65k, so that only then brings the score in favor of El Dupa by, oh lord, about 40k, which that 120k definitely offsets, even including the regular score lead for El Dupa.
Crazy.
I'll go ahead and do some calculations on my own just to make sure that everything is good here, but I do believe it is the win for Very Cool.
So while Dio whips out the calculator, I will go in and we've got this lovely Nomad 3 here. Very much a fan of this one for El Dupa. I think, sorry, for Very Cool. Considering what they've got, lineup wise, and considering how well they played on that hidden 3, I think this is a very understandable pick. Really plays off the back of that map win that they had, and is looking to, really solidify that here.
All right, so that is a win for Very Cool by 34,760 score. So yeah, less than 40,000 score in the lead for Very Cool. But the extra multiplier for Taquito was the main difference maker there for them.
Man, crazy. Uh-oh. The players, they found the roll command again.
They found the roll 1000 command.
So this Nomad 3 is very interesting.
This is it is a little bit of an interesting pick for them. You are right about that. I'm kind of interested to see how well Very Cool is able to capitalize on this pick. When we saw Hidden 3 played in semifinals, it did go the way of El Dupa by about 400,000 score, largely off the back of a Koro, who got a 900,000 score on that Nomad 3. Just about top scoring the lobby. The other... Okay, well, all of the... there we are. All right. Other players on the side of Very Cool, Fiery Rage and Taquito, the ones who had the best scores on that, I think underperformance largely from White Cat and Emrek, who find themselves back in for this pick, especially as we get into these Grand Finals map pools. I think very smart to just lean into these two of the best tournament players in the game and of the best players in the game in general. Whitecat and MREC have been some of the best tournament players overall for years at this point, and especially in 2021 were two of the absolute best that you could have on any team, and some of the best 1v1 players as well, though Whitecat kind of strayed away from 1v1 tournaments, largely 4-team tournaments like this. Definitely a solid pick on an alt map in particular. Whitecat, one of the best alt players in the game, alongside Fiery Rage, who in tournaments like the Cortex Open 2021 was one of the consistent top scorers on these types of flow-aimy, aim control focused alt picks in tournament. Unfortunately, not going to be finding a solid start to this map. And Zuni and Whitecat going to be left to pick up the mantle for them. Zuni going to find that drop, and it's just Whitecat now against Utami and Dekoro, matching 2 full combos for El Dupa.
Well, it's not Akoro anymore. As really, you're looking towards the supporting combos for those players to try and build them back up. You're looking at Chocomin and Zuninator really to try and build up supporting combos for their teammates, try and support them, but there goes the big one. Whitecat breaks the deadlock, opens the door for Utami, who is still holding on in this relatively calm section.
And this is the top performer for El Dupa, putting in work once again. Utami, this absolute beast of a player who has been on a tear recently, once again tearing it up here on No Mod 3. Everybody else on his team has broken in this Ki time, and he has not. He is still just going right now, just holding on to 1,000 combo. Finally finds a slider break there, not even a miss, but still does drop the combo. It does give a little bit of breathing room, however, for Very Cool. Only Whitecat with combo for this team at the moment. And he's going to need to hold on for Very Cool if they want any chance of taking this. 150,000 score down for Very Cool right now. There is time for a comeback, but he is the linchpin of that comeback. And if he does not manage to hold on to that combo and at least match what Utami is able to do in the back half of this map, there's going to be no hope for this pick to go Very Cool's way. And we may see another breakpoint here.
Time, not enough score. Very Cool. Every time they seem to make headway in this match. They've had 2 breakpoints and it doesn't look like they can capitalize on it properly. It's just gonna leave things even again.
Yeah, at this point, no combo is going to be big enough on the board for Very Cool to swap this score lead back over. 120, 130,000 score on the board for El Dupa is the final score lead for them, just about. And unfortunately, it may drop below that 100K mark, but with just a sliver of map left, there's not enough time for this comeback to happen. Despite the best efforts from some of these players near the end, Whitecat, Fiery, MREC, and Zudi, all holding very solid combos into the ending of the map. It's still 72,000 score for El Dupa to tie it up once again. And like you said, Demarsh, a couple of breakpoints in a row for Very Cool, where they are able to take the lead and put themselves up a point, and they have that next pick afterwards. This was the pick from Very Cool. You can see it highlighted in blue down there at the bottom of the screen, but just not able to capitalize on it, not able to make it happen afterwards and really put themselves ahead in this match. I was talking with Bubbleman about this in OWC last year while we were on the desk together, and one of the things that we talked about was breakpoints and how impactful they really are. And we kind of talked about, yes, breakpoints are a big deal. When they do happen, they're worth talking about, they're worth calling attention to. But if the team that scores the breakpoint isn't able to win their own pick right afterwards, it doesn't really matter. Because, again, El Dupa has just tied it up. We are back 3-3, and it's like breakpoints never even happened. Despite the fact that we have now had 4 breakpoints out of 6 points in total in this match. It's as if there have been 0, because neither of these teams have been able to win their own point after taking a break point in order to really solidify that lead and put themselves ahead in the match overall. We're now still tied up 3-3.
I'm not even sure when the last point in this match was when a player had actually managed to win their own map. It's been a while, and that can have a bit of a mental effect as well on teams. You know, they're really looking to try and hunker down and find some decent picks, but they're just not working. And as the map pool gets harder and get more into these toss-up picks, the chances of break points are ever so more likely. As you know, you start pushing towards maps that neither team is confident on. And dupa, they're finally going to go into a bit of speed here.
I mean, this has been the elephant in the room for very cool, right? Bans on both DT3 and DT2 for this team, and no speed picks for dupa to be seen until now. Codename Foxtrot by Katagiri picked up by dupa. This is one of the custom maps as well for this map pool. Very finger control and tech-focused Nomad 5, as you can probably guess by the mapper name and the artist name, Ray Lazy, mapping this 250 BPM Katagiri song with a pretty heavy focus on consecutive bursts, speed, finger control, and a little bit of slide range here and there throughout the map. Pretty solid overall speed roster for dupa. Players like Malteser, Rafis, Ikoro going in for this are all really, really solid speed players. But on the side of very cool, you have players like Sawada, like Takedo on a map like this for very cool. Is going to be very, very strong alongside Bubbleman, and probably Angel Kana, I would say, is the last one to come in. We might see Emrek play this, we might see Whitecat play this, but Angel Kana was on this team to play some of these speed picks for very cool and fill out the roster for them on these types of maps.
Yeah, a lot of pressure to do well as well. You know, Angel Kana hasn't been seen throughout this match. Putting him in is going to be, you know, not just tricky, but just very, very tough mentally. And, you know, there's a lot of pressure to pull that off. And I'm not seeing him in the lineup.
Oh, gonna be Emrek Whitecat for very cool alongside Bubbleman and Sawada. So not Angel Kana to come in for this pick, unfortunately for Kana. Not going to be in for this one. We do see a couple of last-minute swaps here for dupa. Utami coming in for them. Malteser coming back in. Ikoro swapping out for Rafis and Kriller. Notably also not Takedo in for very cool right now. I think he's probably somebody who they would have liked to have in on a map like this that does have a little bit more of that finger control focus and of that light tech focus that this map does have. But instead going to be running with still a very, very strong roster regardless. These four players are all very, very good speed players. And so you're not going to be wanting for too much on this roster. The fact that Whitecat is probably the weakest speed player on Team Blue right now says a lot about just how good they are at speed for the remaining roster. Oddly enough, Whitecat also the only member with a full combo intact for Team Blue. He's been having a very good match so far, so it does make sense to keep him in, and is paying off so far for very cool, as everybody else besides Utami and Whitecat has found these combo breaks. A little bit of a combo lead for very cool at the moment, but repeated breaks all over the place on this map as no one is safe.
Yeah, we're looking for players to really establish a lead right now, and with that break from Utami, the door is just completely wide open to the very cool. They have got big combos on multiple players. Sawada, Bubbleman, Whitecat, they're all there. You know, Emmerich bringing up the rear with the near, you know, with just over 600 combo, but that is by no means anything to scoff at. I mean, just so many high combos. This is looking very bad for LDK here.
Yeah, biggest combo for El Dupa on Rafis and Utami right now. We do see a drop for Sawada on Very Cool, and for Emrek now halfway through here. It's Bubbleman and Whitecat. Whitecat still on the full combo. Bubbleman on that reverse choke 1K combo himself with 98% accuracy against pretty solid come-up combos from Rafis and Utami. But those drops come through for Rafis and Utami as well. And now it's just a runaway for Very Cool on this map. DT2 and DT3 banned, and for what? As they accumulate a 400,000 score lead here. Malteser and Kriller have some combos to their names right now, but El Dupa has so much score gap to make up, and with the supporting combos on Emrek and Sawada right now to match Kriller and Utami, I don't think there's a chance that these scores go back over. A quarter of the map left, and Kriller drops the highest combo for El Dupa as well. Very Cool with another breakpoint, our 5th breakpoint in a row in this match, Demarsh. They are just trading their picks back and forth, not the way you'd expect them to, but certainly trading their picks back and forth, as now Very Cool once again put themselves up 1 point with the next pick. We gotta see if they are able to capitalize on this breakpoint, though. It's been Very Cool to take the first breakpoint every single time, and El Dupa to trade the breakpoint right back. If Very Cool can take their next pick and put themselves up 2 points, we'll see our first decisive lead in this match. But it has been on a knife's edge, bounding back and forth, tying it up every single time so far. El Dupa, a force to be reckoned with, and we'll see if Very Cool is actually able to place the pick correctly to put themselves up that extra point.
Do you see what I see? Do you see the little S there? On what? That's an S rank.
That is an S rank.
That's an S rank on Nomad 5.
That is a very solid S rank for Whitecat on Nomad 5. And yeah, it goes to show just how good he has been playing in this match, just how well he's been performing for Very Cool. Top scoring the lobby by 140,000, the next best score on his own team. I might add, were Bowman and Emrek right afterwards. Utami, the 4th best score in that speed lobby. Very, very strong performance from Very Cool on that map. And I think that's why they left that speed map up as opposed to the DT2 and DT3, right? They have players who can take advantage of the fact that that map is a lot less focused on just raw speed stamina or on raw burst speed, and more focused on kind of combining multiple skill sets. Speed aim, on tack speed as well, on a little bit of finger control into some of those consecutive bursts at 250 BPM. Clearly they were able to take advantage of that type of map and were able to come out on top. You can see Sawada joking about winning Nomad 4, winning the tech map, guys. We've won tech. Woo, let's go. Well, hey, if Sawada really thinks that Nomad 5 was a tech map, then I suppose picking another tech map in Nomad makes pretty good sense for Very Cool, right? Just pick the other tech map in Nomad. Looking at Nomad 4 here, this is the tech map in Nomad. It is Inner Circle, mapped by Halgo and Sharu. It's another custom map for this round, and is very much focused on kind of your all-around tech skill sets. A lot of slider aim, a lot of slider reading, a lot of very fast sliders in this map, a lot of very high velocity sliders that are hard to follow as well. Also, a lot of really wonky stream shapes, a lot of axle decel stuff, a lot of wiggle streams, similar to the type of stuff that we saw in, for example, the Hidden 3 earlier on in this match, and a little bit similar to some of the other alt patterns that we saw in Nomad 3, but much higher BPM, 172 BPM for this map, if memory serves. Yes, 172 BPM. And much more focused on leading into the slider patterns than anything else. I'm going to be looking to players who are very solid in their aim control, their slider aim, and their slider reading to be the winners on this map. Players like Taquito and like Whitecap, who are very cool, I think are going to be massive assets for them on this pick. Players like Fiery Rage and Zudinator, who excel on these types of lower BPM aim control tests and on these slider aim sorts of tech maps, are also going to be really solid players for this team up against Michini, Ikoro, Utami, and Kriller. Another very solid roster for El Dupa on this map. Michini in particular, I think a little slept on for this El Dupa roster, but a very, very good tech player and a very, very good low BPM aim control player, like on maps such as this one. Obviously, Koro, Pillar, and Utami, all very good reading players, all very good tech players, and in Utami's case, well-rounded enough to just be extremely solid on this type of map, generally speaking. A couple of early breaks for Fiery and Kriller, alongside Koro, finding another drop for him as well in the intro of this map as we get into things.
Yeah, I'm surprised, actually, that we're not seeing Chocomin in on this one. I thought Shige would have definitely wanted to have given a map like this a go. But clearly has got his doubts on going in for this map, as we see some big breaks come in for El Dupa. Great opportunity for Very Cool here. Whitecat did find a break there, but he's got good teammates who've got high supporting combos as well. Really kind of driving home that point. They are very strong on this sort of thing. Kriller not having a great time. Okoro now going to find a drop alongside Whitecat, but it's still 2-1. It's just Utami out there on their own.
Utami by himself, definitely not going to be enough to offset the double full combo from Taquito and Zudinator and the big reverse choke combo from Fiery Rage as well. The sliders in this section, by the way, very easy to break on. If you haven't practiced the map, if you don't know which direction the sliders initially start off in, you can very easily find breaks, as Kriller has done in this section, as Michini did in this section as well. No breaks, however, for all the big combos on the side of Very Cool. Utami, crucially, keeping the combo together for El Dupa, but this is already to march over 300,000 score in the favor of Very Cool, and they are showing no signs of stopping. Very, very good team score for this squad as they just continue their run through this map. Almost unopposed. Utami, the only combo really to speak of, and there he goes as well. So this is just now a complete blowout for Very Cool as we see still this double FC for Taquito and Zudi come through.
Yeah, and you can see their scores really, really starting to rocket up now. Yeah, there's just nothing, and they both break, well, pretty much everyone finding resets there, but I mean, look at the damage. It's 700k on a Nomad map is a ridiculous score margin. And they've earned the break in the deadlock, really, with this Nomad 4. It's been to be honest, a perfect pick for Very Cool.
This is such a good pick for them, and they are finally able, like we talked about, to capitalize on the break point they just took. They're already up 4-3. This map is going to put them up 5-3 in this matchup, and Very Cool now with the first decisive lead that we have had all match long, looking for redemption against the only team to have beaten them so far in El Dupa. This is the only team that Very Cool has had trouble with so far in this tournament. It is the team that sent them into loser's bracket in the semifinals, and it is the only team standing in the way of top 2 for Very Cool, now looking really solid for Very Cool as they put themselves up 2 points for the first time and actually have a shot at winning this match without needing to play the tiebreaker.
Yeah, they've set themselves up strong, but those last 2 points, they might not come easy. You know, it might still take another 4 maps to get to a resolution, even if they, you know, just winning their own picks. So, dupa, they've got some time, you know, really sort of remove some of these maps from the pool before the end of this one. And no mod 2 is interesting to me for dupa here.
I personally think this is a really good pick for dupa, actually. I think this is a pick where we can potentially see Shige actually play, despite the fact that it's no mod. He is very, very good at these types of stream maps in particular. Not necessarily at super high BPM speed for Shige, but on 210 BPM, this is comfort level for him, and I would be a little surprised to not see him come in for this pick. Definitely understandable if he doesn't, given the fact that it's no mod, but I think it's something that even without hidden, he can still do very, very well on, and we do see him join the lobby for this. And this is the reason why I think this map is good for them. It's because look at these 4 players, man. Who here struggles with 210 BPM on this roster for dupa? Absolutely nobody. The only thing they might struggle with is the flow aim, but even then, I think they're going to be very, very good on this type of map with very, very straightforward flow aim on these streams.
You know, I have my worries about this map for dupa. Considering what was still left in the pool, I wouldn't have necessarily picked this first. It might be a very good pick for them. I'm just surprised to see it come out here, I think, at this stage. But you could very well be right. It could be a very strong pick for them. You mentioned, you know, seeing Chocomin in for this one. Maybe he can make up that difference, but I'm just looking at this very cool roster, and I'm very afraid of how well they could potentially do on a map like this.
All right. Gonna see whether the power of Emmerich Whitecat No Mod 2 is better than the power of Utami Shige No Mod 2 on this map, actually. I mean, these are 2 powerful rosters for this map right here. I go back to Perennial last year, where Whitecat and Emmerich were often the difference maker on No Mod 2 for AR11 Dolph Dozers, the team that they were playing for last year. And this year they are again the difference makers for this team, but have been able to put up really, really good scores on No Mod 2 all throughout the tournament. Just haven't been able to play it sometimes due to it either being banned out or unpicked with the rest of their roster not finding the best of times on it. Case in point, Sawada and Bubbleman with a couple of early breaks here compared to Ikoro, Utami, and Shige all still holding the full combos for dupa, and a little bit of combo lead for them despite Rafis' early break as well.
Still the score margins, they're not massively far away from each other. Chocomin finds a break alongside Bubbleman. But you've still got both teams with massive combos. Sawado and Rafis really kind of having a battle here on who can recover best. Bubble will find another break though. That does make things a bit harder. There goes Ikoro though, that's big. Emrak going to be finding a break alongside Utami and Rafis as well.
This is disaster for El Dupa, Demarche. Whitecat and Sawada still holding these big combos. Rafis dropping the last 300 combo for El Dupa as well. And this is another runaway for Very Cool as Whitecat and Sawada pull away with the lead for Very Cool. Whitecat going to drop the full combo finally, but Sawada, the speed player for them, actually drops the big combo as well. And now with all the recent resets for Very Cool, El Dupa has the chance to bring this back with Tommy and Shige still holding on to these bigger combos and more recent resets for Very Cool as Whitecat, Sawada, and Bubble and Emrek now with 4-way reset for Very Cool. Chain misses for either side as the score just barely now on the side of Very Cool. Is it enough from El Dupa to take it back? No, it's 30k for Very Cool by the end of the map. But they are still able to take it off the back of the high scores from Whitecat, Emrek, and Sawada, just barely edging out their opponents in Utami, Ikoro, and Shige. You take a look across the board, you see matching scores for Whitecat and Utami and Sawada and Ikoro, and for Bubbleman and Rafis. They all have basically identical scores, and almost the entire score lead comes from the just barely higher score for Emrek compared to Shige. I mean, this map is just about as close as it gets. Even the individual player scores are all within 5k of each other, except for Emrek and Shige. That is an incredibly close map, and unfortunately for El Dupa, puts Very Cool up 3 points now with the next pick, poised to put themselves into the top 2 and close this match out.
I told you it was a dangerous map to go up against Very Cool on. I think El Dupa, I could understand where they were coming from, but it just, something in my head was telling me it was risky, and it has backfired. Very Cool. They are just a single point away. They just need one. They have the map pick in hand. And still a good, good choice. They've still got Nomad 1. They've still got Hidden 1 up. They definitely play to their strengths. I don't see them picking Nomad 6. At this point, I feel like El Dupa are more likely to pick Nomad 6 than Very Cool are. I think Very Cool definitely going to try and focus around Hidden 1 or more likely Nomad 1, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to predict the last pick for these teams. They're not going to pick Nomad 6. They're going to pick Hidden 1. You called the Hidden 1 pick from them, Demarche. I think this is a risky pick as well, although which of these maps isn't risky at this point? We've seen so many breakpoints for both of these teams come through. I mean, we've had, 9 maps get played so far, and 3 of them have been not breakpoints, right? Like 6 out of 9 maps that we've had have been breakpoints so far. So this is the Hidden 1 pick for Very Cool. We'll see whether it works out for them. This is just a straight up tech map in Hidden. They were able to take Nomad 4, but this is a much higher BPM, 200 BPM for this map. Really focused more around higher BPM stream aim and high velocity slider aim in this map as compared to the previous Nomad 4, where we saw a lot more lower BPM streams with really high spacing. This one's going to be much more about slider jumps and the transitions between patterns than the actual patterns themselves that we saw in Nomad 4. Same type of map, different focus slightly due to the BPM on this one.
Again, this ending, it could come very, very swiftly. You're talking one single point, and it's a very short map. All it's going to take is a chain miss from a couple of players, and that could decide it. That's how close this matchup really is. You're looking for... It won't come down to a single break. It will come down to a multitude of factors. It will come down to a couple of breaks from a single team at a bad time, and that will probably either close out this match or give the point over to El Dupa here.
I tend to agree on a map like this. This is not one where you expect full combos. None of these maps you expect full combos on, as every single one of these picks is so difficult. Any full combos on any of these maps in tournaments are ridiculous scores, just legendary full combos, but it's going to be, once again, very cool with the point advantage. Match point for them going into this one. We'll see whether the team is able to pull out the win on what could be their last pick in this match and advance into the top 2. Early break for Taquito and Zudi on this map, matched by a couple early breaks from Ikoro and Utami on the side of El Dupa. Everybody else still holding on to these full combos. Kriller going to drop in the first Ki time here as Taquito matches one of those other drops. Emrek and Ikoro going to trade as well. It's going to be White Cat and Zudi versus Shige and Utami right now with the combos for either team.
Shige definitely the one to watch. I think Shige's got a lot to show as we see breaks from Zutinator and White Cat. We have a deadlock break. Chocomin and Utami, they got the opportunity to break through this right now, really generate a good score gap, but it all comes down to how long they can hold on and how quickly, very cool, if they can even do so, if they can recover.
What is Shige doing right now, by the way? This score is absolutely nuts. 99% still on the full combo for Shige right now. Is just absolutely tearing it up. Utami, yes, is on 600 combo, not too far behind, less than 100 combo down from an FC, but on 93 AC. It still is probably enough, however, to keep the score on the side of El Dupa. Breaks for everybody, including Chocomin, except for Utami, who is able to hold on to this reverse choke through this section, and despite the poor accuracy, able to keep the score firmly on the side of El Dupa and keep them alive in this match. Man, back and forth once again between these two teams, as very cool not able to close it out on their own pick. Still up match point, but have to be a little bit more careful with this next one, as El Dupa looking very solid on this map overall. Shige and Utami pulling through when it matters for this team.
I mean, you know, that's why they have the legacies that they do. Crazy stuff. Chocomin should also probably head down to the slots. That's a 777. And an S rank to boot. That is a crazy good score from Shige there. You know, take nothing away from that. That is absolutely incredible. To be honest, I'd argue one of the best scores in the lobby if Utami didn't have that massive combo. But yeah, crazy stuff. That is one. That is the first point they needed, and it was a break point. They needed it, and they got it.
First break point out of 2 for El Dupa to bring this match back. The problem for El Dupa, they haven't won their own pick since first pick. So we're going to need to see them win their own pick right now to bring this match back to their own grasp, back within reach for them here. It's been breakpoint after breakpoint for El Dupa. 3 out of 4 of their points have been breakpoints, and the last time they won their own pick was first pick. That first pick was on the Hidden 2 on that low approach rate map, and there's none similar that are left in the pool at this point as well. You know, you've got kind of interesting maps and weirder maps in both of the free mod slots. You've got the finger control Rhythm Tech Nomad 6 in Devious Panda, mapped by Down, also song by Down. And then you've got the aim map in Nomad 1, and all of these feel like toss-ups, including that double time 4, you know, super high approach rate stuff and high AR reading up the alley of players like Emrek and White Cat as well. And I think this Nomad 6 is potentially the wild card they needed. You have players like Ikoro on this team for El Dupa who are known for specializing in these types of rhythm tech finger control hell maps. is how I describe this sort of mapping, because that's what it is. If you are not comfortable on these sorts of super intensive finger control, constant rhythm changes, constant changes in beat, snap, divisor all over the place, and heavy tapping strain at the same time, you are not going to have a good time on this map. It will not be fun for you. But Okoro is arguably the single best player in the game at this type of map.
However, you do have some very, I would argue, strong rhythm players on Very Cool as well. This definitely, I wouldn't say, has a chance to flip. I don't think this has a chance to flip. I feel like El Dupa should be able to hold on to this point. They've kept this sort of pocketed throughout the whole match. I always felt like it was a pick they were going to have to go into if they wanted to win this. So as a last pick, it's completely understandable. I think the thing El Dupa have got to be careful of, or what they've got to focus on, if you aren't one of the 4 players coming in to play this map, is your focus needs to be, what else should I be playing on? What is it that I need to focus in on? What is it that Very Cool are going to pick into last?
Well, we're going to have to wait and see what they actually pick. Not too much control over it for El Dupa at this point, and honestly, based on what we've seen so far, I'm favoring a No Mod 1 for Very Cool at the end of this match, but I think we could also see them go into something like the DT4, just because, again, those high approach rate picks are something that MREC and Whitecat in particular are going to be extremely strong on. But in the meantime, El Dupa has to get there. They have to force that last pick out of Very Cool, and it's going to have to happen on this No Mod 6. Okoro, Utami, Kriller, and Malteser in for El Dupa. Zudi, Whitecat, Bubble, and Taquito in for Very Cool.
So here we go. Malteser will find a break. Kriller also has found a break alongside Taquito. Those 3 having the struggles at the moment. Whitecat will also find a break as well, but Very Cool still holding on to the lead at the moment as Malteser and Kriller struggle to recover. It's really down to the core players of this team. Bowman and Zutinator holding the line against Okoro and Utami. Both of them trying to hold on the best they can. The supporting combos need to come in clutch here, but Malteser finds another break. But Okoro has also found a break alongside Bubbleman. Utami's gone now as well. Zutinator still holds, though, with massive combo right now. They've made a massive deficit, and this one could very well be over.
Taquito and Whitecat with the combos to take up the reins after Zudi and Bubbleman drop their high combos as well, and keeps Very Cool in the combo lead. That drop from Taquito, though, does mean that the door is open a little bit for El Dupa. This drop from Whitecat, though, absolutely massive and needed to happen right then, going into the last quarter of the map. Less than 100,000 score lead now, or just over 100,000 score lead, actually, with those breaks from Malteser swapping the score back over. Utami finding the drop as well. It's Okoro and Kriller up against the combo from Bubbleman. Bubbleman drops, though, and now Okoro only the combo for El Dupa. Taquito dropping as well, but it's not going to be enough. Utami with that last sliver of map at the end, not going to make the difference, and Very Cool will be able to take it. The team consistency coming in clutch for them at the end of the match as they find the win that they needed on No Mod 6.
Yeah, that break from Okoro, so tragic. I think the pressure was just a little bit too much on that one. Just couldn't quite come in clutch again for his team, but has done a tremendous job on a lot of those maps. I think a lot of those you wouldn't expect Okoro to necessarily play as well, but I think has shown just how skilled Okoro actually is on a pool like this. Just incredible stuff. And, very well-deserved place for El Dupa, but they can't quite overcome very cool a second time. And we have our final matchup decided, don't we, dear?
We definitely do. That is the win for Very Cool, and a great way for them to find themselves in the Grand Finals up against Microwaved Lobster. That matchup going to be tomorrow at 18 UTC, just about 23 hours from now. An hour back from now, but tomorrow, for those of you keeping track of that. And yeah, I'm super excited to see that matchup. We're going to talk a little bit about how this match went, and then we're going to be joined by this one guy and Fiery Rage for an interview to talk about this match and how it went, and talk about how Very Cool plans to go into the Grand Finals tomorrow as they find themselves in the top 2. Congratulations to them. Really solid stuff for Very Cool. I think redemption, right? After the loss that they suffered in semifinals, they're able now to prove that they deserve the top 2 spot that I think a lot of people predicted for them at the start of the tournament. El Dupa getting 2nd seed out of qualifiers, I think, surprised a lot of people given the star power on this roster for Very Cool. I mean, you have the number 1 player in the world and White Cat on the same team at the same time. White Cat, the player who held number 1 for the longest period of time of any player in the world, joined by the current number 1 player who is set to overtake that record by probably quite a bit, given how things are currently looking in the PP leaderboards. And yeah, this is a roster with a lot of other ridiculous tournament players on it. Bubbleman, Zudinator in particular, 2 of the best tournament players in the world right now. And then you have players like Fiery Rage, Sawada, Taquito, and Angel Kana on this roster who really supplement well with the star power that you have from kind of the core players for this team who absolutely made the difference when it came to Grand Finals. Maybe weren't able to do so in semis, but did finally find their mark in Grands here. I'm just gonna wait for Fiery Rage to join us on the in the voice chat, and then we'll be getting into the interview. So
yeah, I think the main takeaway from this Very Cool performance is that what's exciting is that we'll get to see a matchup that we have been denied thus far. The Very Cool Microwave Lobster match that I think we were all looking forward to, and to be honest, I can't wait to see just the strategy that's going to be involved between these 2 teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to see it as well, and I'm excited to see what the Grand Finals has in store for us tomorrow. So, without any further stalling for time, without any further post-match analysis, I am happy to hand it over to this one guy and Fiery Rage for a post-match interview.
All right, thank you very much, Dio. Fiery Rage, congratulations on a very impressive, hard-fought win. What are your thoughts? What does it feel like to get that win 2 weeks after losing to this team? How much does it mean to you guys?
It definitely means a lot. Like, I'm very happy with how we performed today in general. There are some maps that I feel like we would need to refine just a bit more, especially if we're taking on Microwave Lobster. But I think overall, it feels good. It feels really nice.
So I want to take one brief step back before we talk about this match today. You said last week when we talked that there were kind of 2 teams that you thought of as kind of the primary opposition, those being El Dupa and Microwave Lobster. So you come into this Grand Finals weekend with those two teams being the ones that you'll have to face if you want to win. What does the week in between that losers bracket match last weekend and this Grand Finals weekend here look like with that in mind, knowing that these are the teams you're going to have to face? Like, what's your kind of mindset and practice regimen look like?
I spam pinged everyone. I was just constantly pinging everyone, saying to practice the pool. We hosted practice lobbies. We were just grinding. Like, we want to win this. We want to go all the way with this. And I feel like with how hard we practice, that is definitely possible. It's going to be definitely hard against a team like Microwave Lobster, especially considering the fact we have to win against them twice, though.
I think mindset seems to be such a big thing in these late rounds. It's so key. But so coming into this match, it was definitely an interesting match, I think, is a safe way to look at it. First off, like, just the first portion of this match, right? It felt like, it starts off with the early 2-1 points, and then you get the traded break points going into the second set of bans. What was kind of the mindset when those break points got traded back to tie it at 2-2 instead of, maybe having a chance at the 3-1 lead going into the second ban phase?
I mean, I think I feel like I know what pick you're talking about. You're talking about Hard Rock 2 in particular, but in general, we definitely underperformed on that. That was definitely not our best showing on that map, and we can do so much better than what was shown there. In general, we just had a lot of unlucky misses. I used the wrong keys after the second break, so that didn't really help things much at all. I don't think we would have won even if I comboed that, but that wasn't really nice. But yeah, I felt like going into that, like, we still had a breakpoint over them with Hidden 3, so even with us losing Hard Rock 2, which I thought favored us, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, since we already had that breakpoint advantage, so losing it isn't going to really be that much of an issue. If you lose a breakpoint and you don't have that leeway, then things start to get a bit dicey, but we were just fortunate enough that they picked Hidden 3, and White Cat decided to White Cat.
Yeah, you got some good performances out of some of those key players, and one specific map, though, that I do want to ask about, and I think everybody had this one on their mind coming into this week, is that Free Mod 2, which they picked, and you guys got the break point on with the easy modifier. What was that Free Mod 2 like when you saw that get picked?
I was very sad because I was honestly hoping that wouldn't be picked because I wanted to hide the fact that we were going 3 easy on that map from Microwave Lobster, and Cat's out of the bag now, so it can't really do that. Yeah, that map is a very easy friendly. I would not be surprised to see 3 easies on both teams for that tomorrow.
So you got the win on that pick, and then it kind of just kept going with these breakpoints. We saw 5 breakpoints in a row at one point in this match, and then 3 more overall. As, like a captain of a team, or, somebody in a leadership position on a team, what is going on in your head, and what are you trying to do when you keep seeing breakpoints back and forth to keep the team in it and like maintain the mental?
Just keep everyone's head in the game. That's really all that I can do. I'm just trying to make it so that people don't take losses too hard. People perform pretty much as they expect. Maybe they hold themselves to higher standards overall, but I just try to sort of dumb that down a bit. Like I said earlier, or well, last week really, White Cat and MREC tend to really overestimate themselves and think they have to be these like ultra carry players when they don't necessarily have to be. So they are upset over like getting 400k on a map in this pool. And I'm just sort of there to be the little guide, I guess, in a way.
Well, it seemed to work out pretty well, at least today. It felt like you guys got a good level of performance out of basically everyone on the team. Everyone had their shining moment. It was a huge variety of picks, I think, throughout this entire match. Is that something that you kind of came in expecting in this, that there would not be any one skill set focused on in this match between the teams, other than, you know, maybe a little bit of mechanics being banned out? You know, did you kind of come in expecting that, and was that the plan going in?
Yeah, my plan going into this match was essentially avoid speed, hence the DT2, DT3 bans, although, to be honest, with No Mod 5, I actually think maybe DT3 wasn't necessarily a good ban, but in general, we went in with, we are not picking into aim. Aim is just RNG. I feel like no one really wants to play that. I was going to end up picking probably No Mod 1 as a last resort, just to see, you know what, might as well, since there's no other maps in the pool. Other than that, I think our priorities were mostly just focused on picking into the sort of tech maps, because I felt like we had, in general, the advantage on pretty much all of them, except for Hidden One, obviously, because, well, Shigatora and Utami exist, but... yeah, that was the game plan. Just go in, pick tech, because I think, in general, we were a better team on that tech sort of roster, and just avoid anything that's really generic.
And it basically ended up working out. I mean, the 2 picks of your own that you won were 2 of those more interesting sorts of maps, the Hard Rock 3 and the No Mod 4. Obviously, breakpoints aplenty in this one, a very strange sort of match. But the picking into the more gimmicky picks definitely seemed to work out. So with that in mind, looking forward to tomorrow, you get onto the Grand Finals. You come in from the loser side, always a big challenge. What do you think it's going to take for your team to win, you know, at the very least, a first set and try to force a bracket reset against Microwave Lobster?
Continue practicing, preparing ahead of time, just getting everyone's head in the game, reviewing previous matches, figuring out what they're weak at. I think that's pretty much what we are planning on doing for the most part.
All right, well, hopefully those plans come to fruition for you guys, because I think it'd be super exciting. I know, as a viewer, to see a, you know, Grand Finals bracket reset. I know everybody wants to see that incredibly tense and tight final match for everyone, but we'll have to wait until tomorrow to find out. So that is about all I think we have here. I'd like to thank you again for joining us for the interview, Fiery. Congratulations on a very tough win today, and best of luck in that match tomorrow against Microwave Lobster in the Grand Finals.
See ya. Thank you guys for having me.
And with that, we will send it back on over to Dio and Demarsh to finish out the stream for the day here on our Losers Bracket Final Day.
Thank you very much, this one guy, for the interview, and to Fiery for coming in for that interview as well. That is just about going to do it for us. We are pretty much done for the day here, as we have pretty much nothing else to talk about. We've got tomorrow's matchup completely settled. It is going to be Microwave Lobster versus Very Cool in the Grand Finals. Very Cool coming from this Losers Bracket match, with the bracket reset to win if they do end up winning the first bout. So good luck to them in that bracket reset, and good luck to Microwave Lobster in the winner's bracket to take it all. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Thank you to Demarsh for casting alongside me. And that is just about going to do it for us. We will see you all tomorrow at 18 UTC for the conclusion of the Perennial.